am so excited that you're here. I'm a little new to this, so just bear with me. I've never been on YouTube before, I've never done YouTube, but I have noticed over the last couple weeks we've received so many questions and they require longer, elaborate answers, and I felt like this would be a better platform to discuss those topics on. Before we get started, I want to open this casket behind me and show you how pretty this casket is. This is called the LaSalle, and this is one of those protective caskets that we've talked about before on our Facebook page. We've received a lot of questions about caskets over the last couple weeks. I want to talk to you a little bit about what this particular casket is. This is a half couch casket. When the decedent is laying in the casket, they will obviously be up at this end. Head will be at this end, feet will be at this end. Bottom half of the casket is going to be closed, top half of the casket is going to remain open, assuming the family wants it open for a viewing. On the bottom half, we are going to put something called a casket spray, and that is a floral arrangement that will sit on the bottom half of the casket during the viewing time. One of the reasons why we may choose to get a full couch casket, which would be one whole lid together as opposed to two different lids, would be in the event that maybe a family just wants a full couch casket, or maybe the person has had some facial trauma to their right hand side. Of course, if you're laying in a casket, you're being viewed from your right hand side. If you're laying this way though, you're going to be viewed from your left hand side. So if I have facial trauma on my right hand side, we might make a recommendation to the family that let's get a full couch casket and we can view from the foot end of the casket. I have had to do that a couple times over the last 2 years, and no one really knows. I guess maybe if you're a funeral director walking into the service, you might know, and actually now you're going to know because you're educating yourself. Again, in most cases you view from the right hand side, but if you want to put someone down at the foot end of the casket due to facial trauma, you would view from the left hand side. So that's the difference between a half couch and a full couch. Of course, Dakota's making an appearance. Of course, Chad did a video on our Facebook page last week. He had a full couch, oversized casket. Very good. I can email the Dodge guy. I can email our rep. Why is it? Okay, I'll email.
I just noticed that this morning when I folded like the foot piece back,
yeah,
the one strap was way loose from the one side, so I was looking at it. And
okay.
It's like a complete hole in it. You can put your hand through it.
Yeah, that's fine. I will email.
Thank you.
Sure. We also have a couple questions to go over. That was my coworker Dakota that just came in. Dakota is our right-hand man here. He will do anything from removals, house calls with me. He will work services. He helped me bring this casket into the prep room a little bit ago. He will clean the prep room after we've had embalmings. Just does everything. He is a jack of all trades here and wears many hats at our funeral home. We're very grateful for him. Someone had asked on our Facebook page about urns, and they said, do families have to purchase an urn from the funeral home? I saw another funeral director say you could use any container with a lid. When someone comes back to us from the crematory, I'll show you what they come back in. They're going to come back in what's called a temporary urn. Cremated remains would be inside. Of course, this box is empty. I actually give these back to the crematory to reuse if a family chooses to purchase an urn and not take this box home with them. When I pull that bag of cremated remains out, it's going to be equivalent to about a 5-pound bag of sugar that you might get at the grocery store. Think about that compared to like a peanut butter jar. You're not going to be able to fit all your cremated remains in a peanut butter jar. You're going to want to make sure that your container is large enough to put all the cremated remains in, or if you're okay separating the cremated remains, you can do that. I have families that get a smaller urn and then they will use little urns called keepsake urns for the remaining cremated remains. Cremated remains is the proper term for an individual who has been cremated. I will tell you, I get a lot of flack from other funeral directors on terminology that I use, and those are the same people that will say ashes. Ashes really is not the correct term, but again, we're all going to use the terms that we're most comfortable with and the ones we feel resonate with the audience we're speaking to. So I say cremated remains. I don't like the term ashes, but whatever another director wants to call them, that's on them. So to answer Helen's question, do people have to purchase an urn from the funeral home? Not necessarily. I really don't care where a family purchases an urn from. If they want to buy one from us, they can buy one from us. If they want to find something on Amazon and then bring that urn in, I will fill any urn. I actually don't even charge to fill urns purchased outside of the funeral home. A lot of funeral homes are going to do that. I don't do that. That's just not my vibe here at the funeral home. Actually, I've received a lot of questions about our education and how I got into this work, and what do you recommend before going into school? If you are considering a career in funeral service, I would say reach out to local funeral homes in your area, see if they are looking for assistance with removals, which would be where you go out and you pick up the decedent, bring them back to the funeral home. See if they're looking for help with services. This work is incredibly demanding. It is also really rewarding. But one issue I have is that a lot of these schools don't require students to work at a funeral home while they're in school. And I think these students get out then and they're not realizing the demands that come along with being in this industry. It is not 8 to 5. We work 24/7, 365. If my phone rings on Christmas morning while my kids are opening their gifts, I gotta tend to that family and do what I need to do for them. So there are a lot of sacrifices that you need to make, and if you're not prepared to make sacrifices and you're very selfish with your time, this probably isn't the right industry for you. Someone asked about or commented on a video where I was talking about going into a residence or a nursing home. One of the first things I do is I always place my hand on the decedent. It's just a way for me to connect with them, to show the family that I am not afraid of someone who's deceased. I am there to care for them during this time. It's something that I just do. Karen commented on this post and she said, "Those little things mean a lot. I would prefer a touch to the hand or shoulder. My dad was not adequately dressed to leave the house when the funeral home staff arrived, and our hospice nurse put more clothing and socks on him. It was snowing when he left the house, and as crazy as it sounds, I hated the idea of him going out in the cold. Her actions brought me great comfort. Against the advice of the funeral home, I watched as they took him out. I felt like he needed someone by his side during the entire process." One thing I'll do when we go into a home, I will always tell the family, before we bring the individual into our care, put them on the cot, I will tell the family, if you want to stay in the room with us, it's perfectly fine. If you want to step out, it's fine. If you want to help us, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do is okay with me. Whatever you need to do during this time, I understand. I've had families that during the winter months, they'll give me a blanket and they'll say, "Can you cover them up when you get back to the funeral home?" And I do. Harold asked if we could reuse body bags. Definitely not. Linda sent me a message and she said, "I lost 2 baby girls years ago." I'm really sorry, Linda. I can't imagine the pain of losing a child. So I'm thinking about you and my heart goes out to you. She says, "When I pass, I would like to have them moved to be with me. I live in Jersey, but this is so important to me." I would contact an attorney and talk to them about this. That would most likely require what's called a disinterment, and I am not able to give you legal advice on that, but an attorney can. Greg commented on a video. He says, "Is it true that you break a person's back so they don't sit up in a casket?" If anyone ever sat up in a casket, I'm out of here. No one is going to sit up in a casket. No, we do not break limbs. No. John commented that he's been a funeral director and embalmer for 40 years, and my beliefs are exactly the same as you. This is an amazing career, and it's God's work that we do. Someone commented, "I'm a funeral director in Buffalo, and I've trained a lot of students from Pittsburgh." They said that their niece went to PIMS. Karen says that you have my dream job. you know what, Karen? It's never too late to follow your heart. This is a second career for me, and I found that many students in my class, when I went to Pittsburgh, this was also a second career for them. Many of them were, I would say, in their late 40s to early 50s. Again, talking about cremated remains, someone had commented, they give you their ashes in a bag inside a cardboard box. When individuals come back from the crematory that we use, they come back in what's called a temporary urn. And we do have customized cardboard boxes that we can place this in, or I can also use a blue velvet bag. But I never like to just hand that box to a family. It doesn't seem right. So this is it. This is our first shot at YouTube. Drop us some comments, questions. This is going to be a place of education and conversation. This is not going to be a place for bullying, negativity. If you don't like what you see, keep scrolling. You will be blocked from this page. I have absolutely zero tolerance for adults who will come on to our social media and bully. You need to take that elsewhere. So just a heads up that that's how we're going to roll from here on out. This is all about death care, kindness, love, respect, and talking about tough topics, and hopefully answering some questions that maybe you're afraid to ask. So thank you for being here today.